Perth band Canyons finally have their debut record out after being in the works for quite some time. It's called Keep Your Dreams, and very lucky to be joined by Leo from Canyons on the phone now. Leo, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Last time I spoke to you guys, I think you were just mastering the record, and I think Ryan mentioned it had been something like a year, almost 2 years, that you guys spent in the studio. Can you talk about the origins of the record and how its personalities changed as it grew?
How the personality of Canyons, you mean?
Of the Canyons or the record in general?
The record?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when we first sort of started, like when we signed the record deal with Modular, we didn't really have any demos at all to give them. They signed us based on a few remixes and some other stuff we'd done with our label Hole in the Sky. And so we it was kind of strange, I guess, because we sort of just started working on stuff, and I don't think we really knew ourselves there was a bunch of stuff we wanted to incorporate into our record, but I don't think we had a very clear idea of exactly how we wanted the end product to be. So we just sort of started working on all kinds of different things, and then it just, I guess, evolved kind of naturally into what it became. So,
for people who might not be unfamiliar, you mentioned your label Hole in the Sky. Do you want to just give us a quick rundown on what you guys do?
Yeah, so that was actually the first thing that me and Ryan kind of worked on together before starting Canyons. And it was a label we started together when we were still living in Perth a few years back.
Because you're based in Sydney now, right?
Yeah, we both live in Sydney, yeah. Yep. So yeah, we just started the label to kind of, as an avenue for us to release initially music that we were both working on separately, and some music from some of our friends. And then we decided to kind of work on a few tracks together, and that's where Canyons initially came from. So yeah.
What do you think? I mean, you put out a couple of 12s and stuff via DFA, and as you mentioned, didn't have a huge back catalogue, but were signed to Modular anyway. Coming from kind of focusing on one track and doing like 12-inch releases, what was the some of the challenges you've come across in putting together the record, a full album of songs?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was definitely a real shift for us, and something we were pretty conscious of getting out of the headspace of. And also, I think during that time we'd been doing quite a few remixes too, and so it was very much in the process of just working on one thing at a time, and then not having to be sort of any continuity between different things or whatever. And I think also just working on music that was more geared towards a kind of dance floor club environment,
Yep.
So I think, Ryan and myself, taste in music are both really broad, and so I think we kind of tried to funnel that down into the album that we made. And probably initially when we first started working on it, we were trying to get like every single thing that we like about music into one record, which we realised wasn't going to happen. So yeah, we sort of boiled it down to what it is now. But I feel like I've gone off on a tangent. I can't remember what the question was.
Oh, we were just talking about the challenges that it presents going from working on singular tracks as opposed to a full record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think also a challenge for us was just not being comfortable singing, because we'd never done it before, and so it meant that, we were in this kind of middle ground with one foot in like a studio environment where we're kind of working as more producers, for want of a better word.
Yep.
And then, the other side, which is trying to like incorporate the more rock kind of and live elements and more sort of traditional songwriting. And I think that was a real challenge, trying to combine those two things that we're interested in. It often meant that we'd start a song, we'd get some music together that we were really into, but then it would kind of sit around for a while because we wouldn't feel confident to sing on it, and then we'd have to try and find someone else to sing on it, and it was just kind of, which I guess is also why probably the record took us longer what we foresaw.
Yeah. Were you guys like practicing singing in the shower and stuff?
Well, we kind of, it's kind of ridiculous the way it's gone, but we kind of only just started really practicing singing like after we finished the record when we absolutely had to, because we realised that we were going to need to sing in the live band. And so yeah, it's probably sounds ridiculous to most people, but that's how it's happened.
Oh, I think it's a good idea. You kind of set up the conditions so you're forced to learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's probably. I think also when we first started on the record, and it was really exciting knowing that we had the support of a label and the means to get in touch with different artists that we admired and would like to work with, and so there was that element as well where it was really exciting knowing that we could get a singer from whatever band that we were into potentially to sing on some of our music. But I think towards the end of the process of writing the record, we started to feel that we would just probably be way more efficient if we're singing ourselves, and so I think that's why getting this live thing happening has been a real progression for us, because it means that on our next album, I'm sure we'll be hopefully singing on most of it.
You mentioned that you had the chance to reach out to some artists that you would like to work with. One of which being Ramona Gonzalez, known otherwise as Night Jewel. I thought it quite interesting that you guys had her guest vocal, but didn't cite it as featuring Night Jewel. Where did that come from?
I think that might have been her request, actually. I think perhaps she's trying to just push her own, her name out as opposed to that moniker. Or
did you?
But yeah, that was a preference of hers.
I remember Ryan saying that you kind of grabbed the vocals that she gave you and slowed them right down, and it's the vocals we can hear on "See Blind Through," isn't it? So yeah, do you think maybe she didn't like that you slowed it down, or?
No, she was into it actually. Oh, cool. She really liked it. I think this was even prior to that. I think she had just said that maybe she's in the future she's going to put music out as just her name, and she wanted to get that out there. Or I'm not sure.
Doing the groundwork.
Yeah, exactly. Using us basically. Using us to promote her own project.
Hey, the single's fantastic. So
thanks,
props to both of you. How is the live? Because you guys are turning into a 6-piece, is that right? In a live setting.
Yeah.
And have you played many live shows?
Never.
Never?
No. Not as Canyons. I mean, Ryan has played in a few bands before. I've never really played in a band before, and we've never played live as Canyons before. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you guys
kind of nerve-wracking.
For sure. I guess especially, this deep into your career as well, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we've had the chance to kind of play at the pub around the corner and make fools of ourselves, and get more confident. It's kind of like, but I guess being thrown in the deep end has its merit.
It does. Maybe you should, when you're in town this weekend, have a look out for some open mics and give it a bash.
Yeah.
Fly everyone over at the last minute.
Maybe wear a wig and
totally.
Some overalls or something.
All right, Leo.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. Wish you all the best with everything, and
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you live. Hopefully not with a wig on though.